I see it.
Is recording? All
Yep.
right. All right. Here we go. All right.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well, and good morning to all our viewers. I'm Britt Johnson with Boss Lady News, and you are,
I'm Marlon Solomon with Afro American Culture Initiative.
and everyone is tuned into Village Square.
Yep.
And so here we are a community building resources, building information, building education, and bringing this all to you through Afro American One and their website, which now is a plethora or will be a plethora of resources and information on COVID-19. And please make sure to visit that website when you've got an opportunity.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. It is. We have a hub right now. We have a lot of information. We'll go into that later. But yeah, online is great. You know, we got a lot of resources. People are already checking out our resources, asking us what's going on. I've got a few requests to put some more businesses on there. So yeah, I mean, I think that the resource hub, the COVID-19 resource hub we have on our website is, I mean, very important right now. We're doing well. Anyway, let's go into.
Absolutely.
All right. So, what is, all right. So, you want to go over this?
So if anyone has any questions, you guys are welcome to read this, but I'll read it out to you also. Ask your questions in the chat. You guys will be able to see the chat. And for viewers that might be seeing us on Facebook, feel free to put any questions, comments, or resources in the comment section just under this video. We will read them out. That way everybody is able to know what those questions were. And if we were not able to see you here on Zoom, we'll make sure to try to address them on our next Zoom meeting. In this segment, which is our first segment, we're talking about what our new norms are. Some fun facts, news, and updates. So do you want to start first?
Yeah, I'll start off, and I want to start off with a positive one. Like I said, I've been enjoying the amount of time I'm spending with my kids in this new normal. I don't even remember the last time I spent this much time with them. It has been enjoying. It's been fun-filled. My son is doing better in school. It's just been great, you know. How about you? How you been? How's that been with you?
So for me, it's been a challenge. I'm used to keeping busy, staying on the road, interviewing different people, highlighting different businesses, you know, going to different nonprofits and also showing real estate. So it's been a struggle because you can't do all the things that I'm used to doing just from within the home, and figuring out new ways and new resources to do that, using Zooms, using different videos, using, you know, just plain old telephone calls and text messages. That's been very different. And then, you know, I'm typically used to having my own schedule, making my own schedule. But now I'm like running, let's see, 4 schedules.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's a challenge with the young people, with my children, because they do not want to follow the schedule at all. But after having spoken to you and really realizing that our norms are not normal anymore, then I'm not, you know, I'm understanding that I'm not stuck to a structure or schedule that fit pre-COVID-19.
Exactly. I think that's really important, that we really have to understand that this is actually completely brand new, and it's not going to snap back to the way it was. That life is gone. It's kind of like after 9/11. So
Right,
we have to, so it's completely new. So I think that rather than stressing out that things aren't normal, so to speak, I think we need to embrace the new normal and then be flexible in order to adapt to all the different things that we have to do.
right.
You know, what else is normal in your world? The new normal.
So the new norm, and it's funny, I actually didn't bring one of my masks over to show you guys, but the new norm is fashion, right? Yeah. I love how, you know, people of color, we're always going to look amazing. We're always going to make something look normal for ourselves. And I love the new normal in terms of how we've conformed or made ourselves comfortable wearing these masks,
Yeah.
so that it's protecting ourselves and it looks good. And I just love it. They've got everything from, you know, bohemian different patterns to Native American patterns. There you go, to the African
Yep,
patterns.
got my little African
And
print.
yeah, so, and then what's also really cool is to see how this new normal has created a entrepreneurial platform for people that want to hop onto the sewing machine or even do these stitches by hand. So I applaud all the people out there that have been making masks for our frontline medical
Mm-hmm.
personnel, our frontline, you know, policing, our
Yeah.
frontline essential workers. And I love that people are making this unique. They're making it different.
Mm-hmm.
It represents themselves, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I'm even jumping into getting a new mask that actually is a mask. And then when you take it down, it's a scarf.
Okay, a
So,
little
you
dual
know, we
action
all got to
there.
be creative.
Got no, no, that's awesome. But one thing I do want to say, I did spend $37 on a mask from, I thought it was a Nigerian mask with an American flag and a Nigerian flag, so I thought that would be awesome. And I haven't
Wow.
haven't received it, so I think people need to be very scared. Also be very wary of the new normal criminals out there that maybe there's nobody to rob, but they can, you know, they can pull some scams online. So I think that's very important, that people need to be very careful. I say if you're looking for a mask, try to find somebody locally that you know is in, you know, that does stuff like that. That way you'll get something that at least help you. There are a lot of, and on the resource hub, I put some providers of PPE. There's an organization called BECMA, the Black Economic Council of Massachusetts. They're running a program called Protect Massachusetts. Anyway, we'll get into that later. But yeah, there are resources out there for people looking for masks. Let's see, one of my next new normals is really that the mental health aspect, because this last week, you know, it's the new normal. My body is adjusting to the normal, like actually physically, my mind is adjusting to the actually physically. So I have all this energy physically because I'm not going up and down. Like you said, you're not doing all the running around in your life. You're not, you know, you're not going to the post office. You're not checking out the schools. You're not, you know, you're not working, you know, full time. So I have a lot of energy physically and mentally. Now I'm thinking a lot, I'm sitting in my room a lot and this and that. So I think it's very important to try to find some balance and make sure that you're creating a schedule. And that's what I'm doing, creating a schedule where at least I dedicate a little bit to my mind, to my body, and to my soul. So my mind, of course, I don't have to do any stimulation to my mind. All this work that we're doing is enough stimulation for my mind. But the soul part, meditation, prayer, these are great outlets, you know, to focus one mind and clear their minds of all the worry and clutter that could come in because of the COVID-19 stress, paying bills and all the other stuff. And also, I did a little physical this morning. I walked out in just 20 minutes. Don't have to throw yourself out into this. Oh, well, I got to do like 5 hours of hardcore. No, I just go out there. I did a 20-minute walk around the block, just, you know, came back, took my shower, and I feel great. So I want ready to, you know, to think about that, especially because like Boston this summer, they're not having any, Boston summer,
no
they canceled
festivals.
all events. So
No festivals, no no parades,
this
no, you
summer
know,
is gonna be crazy.
park events, no you know, the swan boats, none of that's
Boston only
happening this
has like
summer.
3 or 4 good months. I mean,
I
really
know.
though.
What are people
Coronavirus,
gonna
can you
do,
come
right?
in can you come in the winter time or something? Do we have to do this in the summer?
Well, hopefully Mother Nature's got something in store for us. I actually had a gentleman let me know that he's actually seen in his lifetime, you know, Mays that aren't warm. And so this was almost like a blast from the past for him,
Yeah.
because he's like, no, when I was younger, May was a cold season, and then it slowly started to warm up. And so, you know, it's going to be interesting to see how the weather really treats us on the northeast side.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely jealous of my friends that are down south and family that's down south because they've got that 70, 80-degree weather. But our new normal up here is also not just in the home, but it is a lot colder than usual.
Mm.
And when you were talking about, the mental stability of people, a lot of people are sun babies. A lot of people of color, they're drawn to being outside. They're drawn to being able to get those sun rays. It charges us. And then also the people who are just used to enjoying nice weather. People that would go out to Park Plaza and sit outside, or people that would sit outside and eat their lunch. Right now people are not getting those opportunities.
Yeah.
They're taking those opportunities either with or without masks, but people aren't getting those typical everyday, I'm going to maybe go outside and enjoy the weather.
Yeah.
So, depression is at a high.
Yeah.
There's a lot of separations between couples. There's a lot of, there's one particular topic that someone brought to my attention, which is child abuse is a higher than usual. Yeah. A lot of in-home mental stresses are a lot higher than usual. And like you have done, people need to go out and take a walk.
Yeah.
My big thing is I love to get into a nice warm bath with my relaxing vibration music on. And if I fall asleep, might bring some tea into the bath with me. But people remembering that self-care, especially now, even for the young people, is very important.
Very important. Very important. It's just unfortunate. The way I look at it is that, for me, this has been an opportunity for a lot of self-growth, because like you said, you don't have any distractions to you don't have to go to work. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do that. You just sit in the house, you watch. There's only so much Netflix you can watch. So you start developing as that this is a chance, because sometimes we just don't have a chance to actually grow because we're so busy with life. So I just want to lastly put out there that you see, this coronavirus is coming back, and that's what we're going to be talking about in the reopening part 1. I put part 1 because, trust me, this is only the first the first battle that we're going to have with it. Basically, in China and other places around the world, even in South Dakota and other places in America, we're seeing spikes. So whilst the weather is great, while I know that it's inconvenient, I really think that this is we're at war. And I think that people need to get that mindset that we are at war. Like normally we send soldiers across to other parts of the world to fight the war. This time the war is on our doorstep. And while it's sad and hard sometimes to think about it in that way, those are the reality of it. If we go out, if we don't put on our mask, if we don't practice social distancing, it's not even just about us. We may be contributing to killing other people that wouldn't have died if we didn't go out. So I'm thankful, very thankful to be in Boston, where I think the leadership, which is very important, has been extremely well thought out and real. I mean, yeah, they're taking their time. It's brand new, we understand, but I mean, they're taking the social distancing seriously. I don't think they've said basically, I think New York is going to be on lockdown till well into June. They're not even
July.
coming out of it. Yeah. So
yeah, my understanding is New York is going to be on lockdown until July. And when I get the opportunity, I do want to share this article from the paper that actually outlines.
Let's do that now. We can go to the next. Let's go to the next. Oh gosh. Okay, the reopening part 1. So this is about the reopening, and this section is our topic of the day. And what we're discussing is this now that we're reopening, and this is the part 1, because of course, I don't think that this reopening is going to be just like seamless. There's going to be problems, hiccups. We don't have the testing. We don't have the contact tracing. We don't have a lot of the tools that the CDC and the experts, the scientists say that we need. Yet some places are opening, which is why I said I'm so happy to be living in Boston. I have family in Texas, Houston, Arlington, Dallas, I have family in Georgia, and they're opening up right now. And despite the fact, and I think it's really something that we need to look at, because the reason why I love Boston, it seems as if Boston has the infrastructure, a public health infrastructure that means that the people in this area take health more important than wealth. And I think that that is something that we all have to deal with in this reopening.
Absolutely. And I do want to bring awareness to the fact that many people who have to go back to work and might not be able to work from home are people of color. The Black community is getting hit really hard with COVID-19 infections and being able to sustain that, because there's a huge lack in good health insurance. So a lot of the people who are directly affected and not getting recognized in numbers is people of color, not because of anything other than the fact that they have to go back to work. Many of them are not able to work from home, like I mentioned, and the health insurance and the underlining issues that many people of color have prior to COVID-19. So this report that I have here is actually from the Boston Globe, and it's titled "Baker Hopes to Launch Phase 1 of Massachusetts Reopening Plan Around, quote unquote, May 18th.
Okay.
So let's see, Governor Charlie Baker on Monday offered a broad outline of what reopening Massachusetts would look like, warning the process would be gradual and could face heavy revisions should the novel coronavirus again run rampant in one of the country's highest hit states. And we all know that Massachusetts is one of the highest hit states.
Number three. I think it's New York. I forget who's in the second, and we're at number 3.
Right.
As far as deaths.
It continues to say, with an order closing non-essential businesses due to expire on Monday, which is this coming Monday, Baker unveiled a 4-phase approach that will mandate steps businesses would have to take to reopen. The first wave will likely focus on industries that rely on face-to-face interactions with customers. Though Baker didn't cite any examples, with the goal of launching phase 1 around, again, quotation, around May 18th.
I like the way they're putting that around.
Exactly. They're including around, quote unquote, May 18th, depending on the process of controlling COVID-19, Baker said. So as we all know, the state of Massachusetts announced 129 new deaths, pushing the coronavirus death toll to 5,100. It's also reported that 669 new confirmed cases, the lowest one-day total the state has seen since March 26th.
The social distancing is working.
A span of 46 days. So I'm going to leave it at that. And if people want to see this article, I would encourage you to maybe post it or somehow put it on the website so that people could maybe click on.
You should be able to put it on the chat, but I don't know if well, anyway, we'll work on that, no problem.
Right. And I'm not sure if people are able to see me, but I did want to make sure that people are able to see that article, because I think it's important to stay in the know. The news is going to report what's going to make the news popular. And what I really like about reading information on COVID-19 is it is a little bit more in depth, because it's not on a time limit. So people, don't just look at the news, don't just look at your social media posts, but take some time to actually look up and read more about COVID-19 and what reopening all of the states is going to look like.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big question. That's why I said where we are so lucky that we have people that are putting health of the people before the money. And funny enough, Massachusetts, Connecticut, and New York, while they're the hardest hit, they're also the biggest money makers. So
Mm-hmm.
it's very ironic that
Isn't it?
yeah, that
Isn't it
people that are
ironic?
making the most money as far as states are also the people who are taking it slow to make sure that they were opening right. So I think that goes, that says a lot about the culture in the Northeast. Also, I believe following the lead of Governor Cuomo of New York, Charlie Baker and the rest of there are about 7 states in the Northeast that are planning their opening together because, of course, I mean, we're only 3 hours away from New York, 3 and 4 hours away from
Right.
it. So we cannot sit here and think that New York can open or we can open and New York, will be, will be closed. We all have to do it together. The reopening thing with me I think it's just too complicated. And I think that people need to really think about it. Now, if Georgia opens and Georgia has a very big outbreak, I'm not wishing that on them, but I'm just, hypothetically speaking, then are we
Mm-hmm.
going to now accept planes coming in from Georgia into Massachusetts? If we do, how are we going to regulate that? And are we going to now say, well, you came in, so that means that we need to contact trace you for 14 days, or you need to, that's another thing that I've heard. Everybody's going to have to start keeping a log of the people you've been around or the places you've been in,
Mm-hmm.
in the last 2 weeks. Can you imagine how difficult that is? Now, maybe now that
Well,
we're in social distancing, it may be a little different. But what about when we are actually moving around and I'm hanging out with Britt and I go to a restaurant or whatever? How are you going to social distance? Yeah, I mean, I want you to say some things on that, and after that, I want to talk about how like the countries that don't have all the democracy, some of the ways they're doing is really gangster, but it works. Go ahead.
well, I hinder on democracy because democracy is only whatever the people allow it to be. And in fear, most people will prefer to be told what to do as opposed to individualize or believe that there's some type of freedom. Right now, a lot of people are willing to release their freedoms, and we don't know what freedom's going to look like in the future for many people. I do believe that there's always a tracking system that's going on. And with people that have cell phones, very simply, you can be located, you can be
Yeah.
tracked. So, there might be a stronger invasive way of just being able to track people, which again, that's you losing or releasing more of your freedom to stay healthy or to be required to keep everyone around you healthy. And I think it's essential for people to really think about what are they willing to lose. I know me and you have had this conversation, but in terms of healthcare and how are people going to stay safe, I guess we're going to have to let go of some of our freedoms, and we don't know what that's going to look like when and if COVID-19 does end, because for people that might have gotten the virus and been able to fight off the virus, which I'm seeing more and more seniors, elders that are actually fighting off the virus and leaving hospitals, which is great. I applaud that. I've seen it both in Caucasian communities and in Black communities. So I'm excited to see that. But we don't know if the second wave of the fall sick season is going to bring an even harder hit to people that maybe had never contracted the virus and the antibodies to be able to fight it, right? And then you've got the concern of the vaccine, and if the vaccine is going to be better for people who had already contracted the virus, or if it's going to be better for people who had not. You've also got the different phases of the vaccine that will anticipate who's going to be able to handle getting the virus or not. So we're in a very sticky and scary time right now when it comes to the coronavirus and what's going to be happening next, and how we're going to be able to track the people that either have had it or haven't had it. And when you mentioned from state to state, will people be able to travel? honestly, I think the prices of tickets is going to go up, because if you don't need to travel, whether it's for business or school or for the hospitals, I don't think they're going to want people to travel. So that casual vacationing that people were doing, that's another freedom that's probably going to be out the door for some time.
Yeah. I mean, that is the balance: freedom versus safety. The facts are, people are not informed. People are and I guess somehow inherently kind of selfish, and we don't understand the gravity of our actions. So are we going to now say, well, because of freedom, some people need to die? I don't think that's the right, I mean, me personally, I just don't think that's the right approach. But I understand the freedom thing as well. I mean, do you want people tracking where you are? In, I think it's South Korea, they're like, once an outbreak happens, let's say an outbreak happens here in Hyde Park, that location, they're going to check who used their credit cards in that places, right? Who used their cell phone data, any sort of anything that they can use to establish who was there is what they're going to do. Now, in one part, you can say, well, that's little freedom. On the other part is, they're going to have an opening economy. You see what I'm saying? Because they're attacking this thing. They something happened in Wuhan, where the Chinese where the virus started from. They locked down the whole city, and they're testing the whole city right now as we're speaking. 10 days, they're going to test the whole city. They're going to know where it is, where it has gone, everything. And then maybe on the 11th, 12th day, once they figured everything out, open up again. And that is the process that we're all going to be going through. Well, I think that the parts like I think the parts in like middle America, they may have closed, they may have opened maybe a little too early because the virus isn't there. But I think with all this, them going out, they all went out last week. So it's this week we're all going to see. It was last weekend when we had a beautiful weekend, right? Yeah, it was. It was not this weekend, it was the last weekend. That was a beautiful weekend. People went out, relaxed and everything. And now this is now 2 weeks down. Let's see what happens, right? And we have a lot of lessons to learn. And I think that this reopening is just going to be spotty and nobody knows what it's going to look like. And once, I mean, there are 5,000 people that died in Massachusetts alone, 26,000 people that died in New York. Think about it. Those are men, women, children, brothers and sisters. And I don't know. I mean, it's just, anyway, like I said, we're going to try to open, but I don't think if you don't lock down and you don't take out all this, I mean, I don't want to say, I mean, of course, I know our freedoms are important, but it's not time for freedom. That's, I guess, the best way I can put it. I'm not really opposed. They can take away what they need to take away. I don't need to groom my dog. I don't need to travel to Texas. I don't need, to go to a Celtics game. I love my Celtics. Oh my God, I can't wait for them to come back. But I don't need to go to a Celtics game. It's a freedom that if it means somebody's gonna have a lot, somebody's gonna live, then it's fine. So that's tough, I guess. Did I like kill the get too serious? But coronavirus is still...
I think freedom in America is a topic that can go one of two ways. Some people are willing to not fight for their freedoms, and some people are live free or die trying. And so, I think many of the people, especially in the Midwest, that took their guns to their state houses.
They're going to shoot the virus. We're going to shoot
they
the
took
virus.
Their guns. They can carry their guns and their open carry rifles, and they even had machine guns out there. And there were no police to stop them.
Flags.
There were no police to stop them. They said it was a peaceful protest, And, you know, as a Black woman that's gone out to protest, I just, in
And
that quick
poor
moment, I
Aubrey,
wish
and
I
poor
was one
Aubrey,
of them.
and poor Aubrey can't even jog down the street. Meanwhile, they can take
Exactly.
guns. They can take guns
They
into
can
the,
take guns to the state
to the
house,
state house. You know,
you know?
that's
But
a whole nother ball of wax. We're definitely going to get into that with this reopening, because our African American and our communities of color, Black and brown people, we're funny enough, we're the ones that are keeping this country alive, because we're the ones going in to do our jobs right now, because we're the care workers, we're the first responders, we're all these, jobs where that, require some risk. And now, let us see where the resources are going. If 60% of the deaths are happening in communities of color, then 60% of the resources that to fight the COVID-19 need to be in communities of
facts,
color. And these are some of the resilient ideas that we're hoping that these kind of discussions will spawn. I know that we try to keep it a little, we try to keep it a little light on this show, because obviously there's a lot of heavy news on the TV, and we don't want people to get too depressed, and we wanted them to get the information. But the facts are the facts. We've got to, we are under fire here, and it's being exposed. And it's, it's also like another slap in the face, like dignity wise, like, gosh, why is it Black people again? Why is it always us that have the problem? Why can't not saying we want anybody else to die, but why it gotta be us all the time? Why it gotta be us all the time that got the problem? Why, another slap in the face of indignity that upon all what we've gone through in this country, we're still facing this racial issue that during the pandemic, we're telling people, we just told people out to go and take a walk. I hope nobody suffers the fate of Aubrey, of Maud, because of that, because of what we've said, but that's the reality.
And it's scary. It's scary to imagine that we don't want to stay cooped up in the house. We are seeing that people are going for walks, they're going for jogs, they're going to sit out in the parks, and police are walking over and casually giving them masks. And in some communities, police are walking over and attempting to arrest people that are not wearing masks.
Exactly.
So we're always getting faced with antagonism, and we're always getting faced with, the decision of, are we going to fight or not? And I think in COVID-19, I can always say, and there are some posts on my Facebook where there is white on white acknowledgement of some of the ignorance that is going on right now. And it's shameful, because I've never known a people to be so angry at all times. Pandemic, we hate. It's saddening that some people out there can be so angry just because of the color of somebody's skin. And it's crazy that in a pandemic that affects all skin colors,
the world,
this is a conversation. It's just ridiculous. But it's America, right?
Yeah, but you know what though? I think that me personally, as a person working in the, I guess in the race, in the race struggle, I think that this pandemic has convinced me beyond a shadow of a doubt that while discussion is very important, you need to understand who is never going to listen to a word you say.
Right.
And I think that is where I would like to see more resiliency from our communities, not go to the government to let the government no, they went to the state house with their guns because they're being resilient. They're fighting back against what they feel is right and wrong. And we have to do the same thing. But one thing I do want to identify, and I know that this may come off a bit pointing fingers, but unfortunately, I have to point out that there are some people in this country that refuse to listen to science. And that is a dangerous, dangerous, dangerous thing. Science is it, to me, it has always been the study of God. I'm a civil engineer. And so I always looked at science as, okay, God did it this way, and now let me try to see what he did, and let me learn by learning the science, right? And if you do not learn science, then there are certain things you're not going to agree with and are going to make you mad because you're not dealing with reality. That's why it's dangerous. They're not really in reality. Science is reality, and you're not dealing with reality. So now what are the things that I'm talking about? That all this same group of people do not believe in. They don't believe in climate change, science. They do not believe in, what else they don't believe in? They don't believe that all men are created equal, science. Science says that all men are flawed and equal. They don't believe that all men are believed. They also don't believe in the pandemic science that is saying if you social distance and this and that, they will not listen. So now think about this. If
wearing the mask, even something as simple as wearing the mask.
They do not believe in science. This is why, as I'm telling you, like, to me, science is equal to reality. If you do not believe in science, that means you do not, you're disconnected from reality. So right now, and I don't want to, I'm not really bringing this because of because of politics, but our president does not believe in science. So he is actively trying to get people to start the country, even though the numbers are going to have basically doubled. Meaning in August, there was supposed to be like 70,000 or maybe 100,000 people dead, right, from COVID-19. Because of the reopening, the schedule has now gone to about 150, 160, I don't know the exact number, but basically it has increased. So literally, you can actually attribute that decision to an actual number of people that are going to die. I mean, it's as simple as that. It's not for debate, it's a science. And if you do not believe in the science, those people that are going to die extra because of the opening, those people are, that is what happens when you don't believe in science. So if you expect them that the whole world, think about this, the whole world is now understanding that there's a pandemic and the science says this, the whole world is doing it. And these particular people do not want to listen to a whole pandemic. I mean, this is like an act of God. This is like, I mean, this is the biggest thing that's ever happened in any of our lifetimes. And these people still think that you can lie about it, spin it, deny it, just pretend like it doesn't exist, ignore it. They can do all this stuff. So what would happen if I say, oh, treat a Black man with equality? If a pandemic isn't going to humble you, if a pandemic that is killing thousands of people over, if that is not going to humble you and you're still going to argue, then you will never in your lifetime, and that's why I said this is the lesson I've learned, you will never, ever in your lifetime, ever respect a Black man because he's a different, you will never respect him as a white man because it's just not your why, it's just not, you're going to argue. And what can I do as a Black man? Can I kill 5,000 Massachusetts people? No, I can't, or I'll be in jail or whatever. So bottom line is, in fact, the most people that have ever died at the hand of a human, I think was 9/11. You know, that's 2,000 whatever people, right? This is killing that every day. And if that isn't humbling you, isn't making you feel, like my mom says, they don't fear God. They don't fear God. If that doesn't humble you and you're telling people to go out and risk their lives so that you can make a buck, so you can cut somebody's hair.
And it's the decisions, like you just mentioned, it's the decisions that are being made that are really showing the numbers. So also just recently, the decision to cut Social Security and benefits for different people. And although they don't want to admit it, majority of people that are on government assistance are not Black or Spanish speaking or Asian. They are Caucasians. So for the president to make the decision to cut Social Security for many seniors and for many disabled people or people that might be on medical inabilities to work means that these people who are more likely going to be affected have to go to work because they have to supplement the Social Security income, or they have to supplement the SNAP benefits, which SNAP benefits is merely food, as our grocery stores slowly dwindle on the amount of food that's even available. And so his decisions are directly affecting the numbers of people that will be infected, and therefore the number of people that will die by COVID-19 related issues.
We actually have Rhodes Pierre. Pierre, are you? I think Pierre is there. We have an attendee. I was just noticing what happened. So we're welcome. Let me see. I'm gonna allow him to say something if he wants to say something. Hi, Rhodes. Are you there? I can unmute him. I've unmuted him, I think.
You can unmute him. Rhodes Pierre. He is actually a life insurance. I'm sure he can hear me. And I did get your message. Sorry, I haven't had a chance to get back to you.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Have you been enjoying the the show?
Well, yes, I've been getting some information, some insight, and obviously a lot of agreement to what is being said, and want to put some foresight into possible putting some solutions forward, and then trying to talk about those things as well.
Oh, excellent!
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Britt.
All right. Well,
no, absolutely. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna again mention the fact that financial literacy is something that's missing in our community, and it's just a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of planning, like a little bit of being able to ascertain your dreams and your goals, and to figure out what position you're in right now and where you want to be. It's like being a coach. It's like being on the sideline, kind of figuring out what you're doing, and so essentially sitting down with me, it's free to sit down with me, free to talk to me, and we help you think out what you're supposed to be doing in order to achieve what you want to achieve. So if you want your retirement plan to work out, you just want to make sure, you just want to double check. It's like getting a physical for your retirement plan. It's like getting a physical for your money. It's like, a physical for your income.
Okay, no problem. You know what? I have a resource hub. I would definitely be interested in, if you, sending your information so I can put you on the online website, and people will be able to know that if they're looking for financial literacy, which we are very, very happy about. We have somebody on our group that is not, we have a person in our group that does the financial literacy as well. So we definitely recognize that.
Perfect.
Yeah, because obviously, especially right now, there are some COVID-19 related issues.
Absolutely, yes.
People, there are resources out there. There are coaches that are, that could help people. We need to tell people what they need to spend their money on and what they don't need to spend their money on, or. There's just a lot of confusion out there. There are bills that need to be paid, and some people don't have the money to pay it. So now what do you do? So
no, absolutely, Marlon. At this time as well, I'd like to point out the fact that the products are changes, the interest rate has changed, the market rate, you're acting to the market volatility. So there's a lot of different things that have affected the product. So many people that have existing products, those products have changed, the companies have changed, the names have changed. So they should review the actual existing products that they have to make sure it's the product that they think they have, just to make sure.
Got it. Well, we really appreciate it, and I'm so happy that you came. And I saw that, we've had a little bit of technical difficulties getting this thing completely started. So I'm glad you were able to navigate that.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, but I'm glad you're here, and we look forward to, we're going to be having this discussion every Wednesday. We just got started last week, so we're still in the process of developing the process, the program, but we really thank you. The reason why we're doing this, I don't know if you're aware, is we are we're doing this, and we're doing the Village Square Zoom meetings, as well as our resource hub on our website. We're doing it because we are working with to develop a program for frontline medical staff in the low-income multicultural communities. So we want to give them some R&R. You know, I can't imagine. Somebody asked me, why am I doing this? And I told them very simply, and it was the best time I've ever come out of my mouth. I said, I can't imagine going to work in the morning, seeing like 4 or 5 people pass away, and then going home and then trying to be normal. I just couldn't imagine, like, you know, now worrying about homework, worrying about a bill, you know, whether somebody has something to eat, the kids arguing. I couldn't imagine that, and then going, you know, seeing people die all day at work and then coming home and then now having to. So I said, what can we do to pamper these our heroes? What can we do to give them some rest and restoration? So we decided to, like, you know, give them at least one night in one of these, you know, hotel, decent hotel, couple of ride shares and some food, you know, and just some, basically some, like give them a timeout. So that's what we're working towards. So, you know, we definitely want you to help us, you know, share the word. We have a GoFundMe. We'd like you to donate. Pierre, anything you can do to share the word and let people know that we're working on this program. So this, this is the update on kind of where we are right now. We spent a little money we're putting together care packages. Basically, when people come to our program, we want to give them whatever we got, you know, just like a thank you. So we got t-shirts, mugs, we got the printed Afro-American One bags coming. It's going to be cute. You know, we got a little pen, we got some relative information. Also, we're collecting donations to put in the care package. So we've already got somebody, Ishmael Mohammed of 400 distributors last week donated 50 masks to our organization. So we're going to give you some masks, hand sanitizer, some other things. So we've got that going. Those should be coming in next week. We've been in talks with the mayor's office, the Boston Foundation, as well as other African Bridge Network and other local organizations, getting them aware of what we're doing, and we're getting good feedback. So we're looking forward to developing this program even better. Like I said, we plan to start in about a week or 2 weeks. I don't want to say definitively until we get all our ducks in a row, get our care packages, everything is ready to go, then we'll do. Up to now, we've raised $250. So on the GoFundMe, which is good. That's at least, we can literally do one night, but of course we want to do more, but one night of rest and restoration for one of our heroes, even if that's all we do, that will be, we've helped somebody. So that's how that goes. I want to quickly say, everybody, please go check out our resource hub. I need to put I'll put the website address up here next time, because I think that www.afroamerican1.org, and we've got information, loads of information. I just uploaded some great new resources for childcare, some of the things the states are doing, translator services, loads of excellent information. Resources, yes, we have I just put up another a senior service care facility. They put their name up on the resource hub. They went to the form, filled out the resource hub, and so I put them on the resources for local businesses yesterday. So please, if you have a business, send your information. I put it up. And then of course there's our accommodation information, which is I put some information up there yesterday to help people looking for temporary accommodation during this pandemic. So for that, you know, we've been doing it just about an hour. I want to keep, we're getting close to that. Of course, we're going to close it out with a little more talk, but I just wanted to let everybody know, thank you for coming to the Village Square. If you're registered for life, and see you back soon. Britt, you have any, think your parting shots?
Yeah, no parting shots. Well, you know, again, thank you for having me on as usual. Rhodes Pierre has actually been on Boss Lady News as well. So if people want to meet Rhodes Pierre and find out more about him, please feel free to go over to bossladynews.com, or you can YouTube Boss Lady News. And I had an amazing interview with Mr. Pierre. in reference to life insurance, and what are some of the possibilities that different age people should be getting into. And in this pandemic, more people should be thinking about, obviously, Social Security is not going to be your saving grace as you get older. We need to be preparing ourselves and our families for financial stability in future and for when we get older. And I, again, thank you so much for having me on. Until next time, I will see you guys. Today is coming to an end. I hope everyone has a great day. Yep. And remembers to do some self-care.
Yep. We have our next Village Square, and this one is I'm hosting, and this one is a cultural town hall. It's going to be on resilience, Saturday, May 16th at 7 o'clock. And our cultural town hall is a little bit different format from our weekly Village Square community Zoom meeting, because it is more about it's more about discussion about the cultural issues. So we're going to be talking about the resilience of our communities and what we're finding out there in regards to COVID-19. Some communities are doing very well. Some communities are not doing as well, but the idea is not really to point who's doing better and who's doing worse. The idea is to say, okay, what can we learn from each other to make all of us better, right? So that's kind of the subject for Saturday. I want to thank everybody for being part of it. Britt, you're a definite blessing to the community, and I want to thank you for all what you're doing. This is your home as well. It's not really like I'm having you on. I feel like, you're, like I said, your family. And I thank you for this service that we're doing every Wednesday. I know we all have busy schedules, but at least taking this time to give the community great information in a more pleasant, not so, heavy form. Doing it in the context of African diaspora and the people of color. That's also very important. Doing it as a woman, who's, has a lot, in front of her, is also, an inspiration to everybody. So thank you. Thank you, Rhodes, for being part of thanks for being part of the chat today.
Well, you're very welcome, and thank you for having me on.
Okay, yeah. I see your number. I'm going to add it, and we can definitely hope to see you guys on Saturday. Like I said, Saturday is more laid back. Grab a glass of wine. It's like I want to go to a bar and have discussion at a nice little lounge, and talk stuff, but I can't. So we're gonna just do it. We're just relax, talk, and hopefully we learn something from all the people that will be hopefully coming. So thank you very much, and see you next time.
Thank you again. Have a good day.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, Brett.
Bye. All right. Stop share. Are you still there? Okay. And